gentlemen, good morning. Happy Wednesday. I am going to introduce someone that has been working very, very hard on this. As a matter of fact, he just finished a couple of the last minute touches last night, and he and I haven't yet uh, done the full demonstration. So we're going to do this with you guys this morning because every single time that we would think about where we're going, the destination kind of changed, right? So I'm really excited about it. I think that once you guys see it, I gave you guys hints about it. I think either last week or a couple weeks ago, and even I think last Tuesday night, I told you guys at dinner. I said tech has got to be your kind of unfair advantage, and uh, I think that is right. Our tech is our unfair advantage, and we're going to prove it to you today once again. Because I'm in the belief and this is why I wanted to kind of control our tech stack. Because it's obviously it's critical, it's important, but in order for you kind of to predict the future, you've got to invent the future, right? In order for you to be able to do exactly what needs to be done efficiently, effectively, be able to offer a service to clients that goes far beyond the normal, the status quo. You got to have some things that go beyond just the normal, right? So this is why we made the decision. Like I can kind of say this to you guys over and over again. This is why we made the decision to own our own tech, because we didn't have confidence in others to build what we needed, right? And I think now more than ever, with everything that's going on with technology, AI, and everything that's predictable, we're in a moment where agents need to separate themselves quickly, right? And I said this the other night at dinner too. I like speed is really important. It's critical, and we need to make sure that we kind of create that separation. And I think we've really been doing a good job, a much better job over the last couple of few years than we've ever done. So the industry is kind of in reacting mode right now. I'm not interested in reacting, right? That's not something that this leadership is built on. I don't want to wait for listings. I don't want to compete for the same inventory. I don't want to go after expireds. I don't want that, right? I want us to fight within our kind of ecosystem where everything already exists because no one else has access to that, right? So if we don't have to kind of fight where everyone else is fighting, we get to just focus on exactly what we have. So what we're doing now, I think you're going to see that's exactly us doing exactly what we said on our mission. We're going to do this over and over again, right? We're moving from reacting. I feel like you'll see today to kind of identifying, being very, very particular on exactly what it is that we're looking to do. So instead of like competing, right? Again, going back to like that word competition, I think you'll see that today more and more we're creating, right? So I'm not really interested in kind of like a hope and see what happens, right? Hope for opportunity. We need to know exactly how we're going to do this. And this isn't just about buyers, it's also about sellers. It's also about you feeling more purposeful. Imagine sitting at a listing presentation, for example, and opening up Swarm right there on the table. No one is going to be able to do that. No one that is trying to compete against you is going to be able to open up Swarm on the same table and then show the seller what already exists, right? And I want to, and this is something that we said a while ago. You hire one John Harder, you hire all John Harders, right? We're not a single agent kind of hire, right? When your client chooses you, they're choosing your entire network and not just your personal network, but the network of every John Harder that's in our ecosystem. So I want to make sure that we build something that gives your buyers confidence, gives your sellers confidence. It shows something that's a lot more powerful than just going into the MLS and seeing what happens, right? So you'll see today that you're no longer trying to convince a buyer to use you. At this point, a buyer is going to need to convince you to work with them, right? Because this is the direction that this firm is heading into, and I hope you guys see that. And I think today you'll see what we're doing, right? With buyer match, you're going to see an advantage that no other tech has ever built. I know you guys, a lot of you guys are from EXP, a lot of you guys are from Compass, you guys have come from Remax and KW and so on and so forth. You will agree with me that what we're launching today, or what we launched last night, gives you leverage, it gives you control. I think you're not going to see something like this in any software that's out there right now. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of us. I'm proud of what we're building. I'm going to bring in the man behind the scenes whose brilliance is keeps building these things for us. And he's going to demo. The only thing that I ask from him, Nick, good morning. How you doing? The
Morning,
only
morning,
thing I
everyone.
ask from you is, like, I'm kind of not used to sharing the spotlight on these Zooms, so I go in and out. You're going to be in screen share mode the entire time, I know, Nick.
Mhm.
But if you don't mind, when I say um, take us off screen share, just take us off screen share. So especially when there's an actual point, okay?
Okay.
Agreed?
Yep, I got you.
Morning. How you doing? You're tired. You look tired.
No, I'm ready to go. I'm energetic.
All right, let's go.
All
Okay,
right.
talk to me.
All right. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. Obviously, you guys are very familiar with Swarm by now.
Mhm.
And what you're not familiar with is this new item on the sidebar, which soon it will be on your dashboard. Okay, I promise you, it'll be on your dashboard. But we have this new section here called Buyer Match. And of course, it's everything that Harv just spoke about. And we've separated this into two different sections of Buyer Match, right? The first page kind of shows you those opportunities that exist for Buyer Match. And so if I click on this, and I'm, of course, impersonating Hike, he gives us kind of the best options here. You'll see a dashboard, right? And at a first glance, maybe it might look a little overwhelming, but it's simply telling you that, hey, you have 411 opportunities across your 20 buyers, okay? And you also have 376 uh, potential seller opportunities across 32 potential sellers. So, taking a look at what this means, we've separated into three kind of different buckets, right? Number one, you have your list of buyers, right? These are the people that you've sent Gibras to. Okay, these are people that have active Gibras in the system, and the system has gone ahead and tried to find potential matches for these buyers. Okay, so this means that this Gibra that I sent out for Mr. Ararat has 55 potential matches. It can match with 20 of our JohnHart listings, including sneak peeks. And it can also potentially match with 35 off-market properties that are not on the market that our agents don't even know they might have potential sellers for. Okay. So it fits into two different areas, totaling 47 potential agents that this might match with. Okay. So there's 47 distinct agents that you might have to connect with to find a buyer for this person or find a potential seller for this buyer. Okay. So that's,
Nick,
yeah,
before you go on, and I'm going to interrupt you a couple times here.
go
When you
for it.
say potential listings, okay, so
Mhm.
potential. So right now we've got potential sellers that off market that are already signed and active listings. And then when you say addresses, potential addresses, have those addresses, would you mind going a little bit more in detail? Have those addresses been identified as potential sellers?
Yeah, so about a year and a half ago or so, we released a feature called Inventory Identifier. And Inventory Identifier has been working nonstop for the past year and a half and has identified potential sellers across John Hart's database. And so what this ties into with Buyer Match is we're not only looking for potential properties we have on the market for your buyer, we're also looking at people that we've identified as potential sellers across our network. So this also ties into inventory identifier to find you potential matches to potentially have for your buyer.
Yeah, so it's not just, ladies and gentlemen, it's not just us because we tried to run that, and we have hundreds and thousands of addresses obviously in our system, and the list was way too long. The list
Mhm.
of potential matches to your buyer was just way too long. So we said, okay, instead of thinking about a possible, a list of that's really not going to give you much as far as data is concerned, why not only give you access to other agents' addresses that have already been identified? And for those of you guys who don't know what inventory identifier is, really think about the listing alerts that you have to set people up on, making sure that those listing alerts obviously have addresses and purchase anniversaries as well. Those are the properties that we identify. Nick, I apologize. You can go ahead.
Okay. So clicking into this, or should I go over these other two first? Maybe I
Yeah,
should just click into this
yeah.
first. Okay. So this is my buyer, right? It's technically considered, this is the Jibra that I've sent out for this person. That sending
Sent
them a
out.
Jibra, yeah, is what considers them a buyer in our system. Okay. And we
Does the
also
Zebra have to
use
be signed, Nick?
no, it doesn't have to be signed. Yeah.
Okay.
So as long as you sent out a Jibra and it's within the active duration of that Jibra, it is going to be the system's going to try to find matches for you.
And
Okay.
the reason we didn't want to first have the Zebra sign, ladies and gentlemen, is just because, just in case your buyer is giving you kind of resistance, right? Is not wanting to sign that Zebra, you're going to be able to tell them, look, show them, like just exactly how we have here, show them that if you sign my Zebra, not only am I going to show you properties that we have in our system that are off market, and show you obviously properties that are on market with everybody else's, but we also have a bunch of agents that have clients that are potential matches to your request. So definitely a much easier way of convincing the client to work with you and sign that GBRO.
Right. And so what we do here is when you have a buyer, we try to match you against JohnHart listings, which you see over here in this table, where we have a couple of different listings that might match your buyer's criteria. And so you could take a look at this, and I tried to give you as much information in a short area as possible. So for example, you could see the city, you could see the status, you could see the bed bath, square footage, you could see the type of home that it is. This is an SFR. And you can also click in on these to, go to the web page and kind of get more details on the property if it really is a good match for you. But these are the list of potential properties that might match your buyer. And so what I could do is if I do find something that I know that my buyer might be interested in, I could just simply click on match. Okay. And this is the power of this entire system, right? Is you're essentially connecting with another agent and you're saying, hey, hi, Lily, I may have a buyer interested in your listing at 1515 Grismer. Let me know if you'd like to connect. I'm not going to send it to Lily because she's not going to be the one I'm using in this example, but this would notify Lily, and on her end, she'll be able to see that, oh, okay, Hike has a potential buyer for me. It's for this property. Let me see if this, makes sense. And then we connect together and we can go from there. So that's the overall idea with buyer match, right? Is connecting our agents, um, you know, with each other within our systems. Okay. And then on the other side here, we have matching sellers. Now, these sellers they don't necessarily have a listing agreement signed or any property on the market. These are sellers that Inventory Identifier has identified. So as you can see, this is also a long running list. And you can see we have a potential seller in Glendale, Burbank, Northridge, Glendale, and we're not exposing your contact information, right? That's something that we were very conscious of not doing. We kind of just want to give you a glimpse so that you're able to then dig deeper and connect with the agent who has that information for you. So
So
that's kind of how we did it.
all we're identifying, just so everybody's clear, and Nick, obviously you just said it, I just want to reiterate this. The last thing I want is for agents to think that we are exposing any data. All we're identifying is, like, for example, Rafi Sualian has a client that has an address, or has a home, excuse me, that has been active with Rafi. Okay, active with Rafi, communicating with Rafi, and he has a home in Glendale. That's it. No address, nothing at all whatsoever. So Hike now knows that Rafi has a client that is active. Okay. Nick, do me a favor, take me off screen, share. A client that is active, right? If the client is active, Rafi maybe possibly hasn't really had time to connect with that client, right? So he's got a client who has a home in Glendale. That client has an inventory identifier label, okay, on in his system. That means that the client has a purchase anniversary. That means the client has equity in their property. That means they've had it for more than 5 years. A. Two, obviously, there's an address. Three, that client has been active with Rafi, clicking on multiple listing alerts that Rafi has been sending him. Okay, so that's three green checks. When that happens and that client's property is identified as likely to sell within the next 6 months, it automatically goes on that list. When Hike goes and clicks on match with Rafi, Rafi will get a notification. And Nick, you can go ahead and go through that. Rafi will get a notification that says, hey, Hike has a potential buyer for your client. And now all of a sudden, Rafi's notification will include Hike as a has a buyer, doesn't identify Hike's buyer's name, but it does identify to Rafi which match they're talking about, right? So for those of you guys who have used these dating apps, very, very similar. Swipe right, I don't like you. Swipe left, I love you. I want to meet with you. Same exact thing here. It's gotta, if both say match, then there's serendipity. Nick, you can go ahead and share your screen now.
Okay. I did see a couple of questions in the chat about how, how it knows these are matches, right? And
Yep.
that's something that we didn't quite cover yet.
Yep. We're
So
gonna
we'll
cover
jump into
that.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So like Harwood suggested, I'm going to go ahead and match with Rafi, right?
There you go.
And it's going to pop this up for me. I could type whatever I want here. If I say this is for a demo, it will include that in the message, right? And this will send a notification to the agent. So that's why I'm picking Rafi. Obviously, he's aware of this. And so I'm just going to go ahead and click send match request. It's going to take a little bit of time because it's generating an email to send out to him. And once that gets sent over, it will give me a little checkbox on the top and it'll say request sent successfully.
So Nick,
So
it's going to
yeah,
send an email and a notification inside of Swarm.
just an email, and then it is going to show a little bubble over
Mhm.
here for Rafi to know that he has potential, matches that he
Yeah,
needs to look at.
nice.
So that is being sent to him, and we've added a couple fail safes as well. So for example, like obviously, if you try to send it again, um, okay, I guess it is sending it again. Yeah, if you try to send it again for a property, it'll tell you like, hey, you've already kind of sent this person this match request, so
Mhm.
don't bother sending it again. So that's kind of like a couple fail safes are in there as well. Now, let me actually exit this. On Rafi's end, or should I not jump into that yet?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So on Rafi's end, let me go ahead and refresh this page. And you can see that he has a buyer match, right? And it's coming here under match requests. And if I click on match requests, I get to see all the incoming requests. So for example, Hike is saying, hey, I might have a potential buyer listed interested in potential sellers you have in Glendale. Let me know if you'd like to connect. And I've said that this is for a demo. So of course, this status is pending. So I'm gonna click into this record here. And for Rafi, of course, he's looking at this and he's gonna be like, who the hell is Hike talking about, right? Like I have a bunch of contacts in my database that are potentially in Glendale, but it tells Rafi which contact that this might be for. Okay. So Hike's request is coming in and the match was for this person. So now, of course, I'm going to do my due diligence as Rafi and I'm going to, take a look at this person and be like, oh, you know what? Like, are they actually a potential seller? Like, is this something that I might have an opportunity with for Hike? And in that case, I will update Hike here on the left side panel here and I'll tell him whether or not, hey, look, either I'm going to accept this or I'm going to reject this, and I'm going to provide you a little message about it as well. That's kind of how this is working. Okay.
Yeah. And
Uh,
this way, Rafi has, and if we get this right as John Harters, every single day we wake up to make our connections, to make our calls. Who are we going to call first? Right? We're gonna go into buyer match. We're going to see if anybody from John Hart has asked for one of our sellers who are have identified. We're going to call our sellers and just say, hey, just want you to know that a few of our agents have reached out to me about your property. Would you be interested? So we're right now functioning in a vacuum, for a lack of a better term. We know exactly what it is that we're looking to accomplish.
Cool. So yeah, that's kind of just one situation there. Of course, in this situation, I as Hike am looking for potential sellers for my buyer, right? And I could do the same for any of these listings as well. But for now, I'm just going to keep it with this matching sellers.
Mhm.
But going back to match opportunities here, or actually, let me go to requests just for a second. You can see on Hike's end that I have my latest outgoing requests. And you could see that it's going to Rafi, and this is my request. Right now, it's still pending. And he still hasn't viewed it, right? Tells you if Rafi has taken a look at it even. Of course, because I'm impersonating Rafi, it doesn't count as a view because I'm not Rafi, right? It will only count as a view if it was actually Rafi looking at this. And if I click on view details, of course, this is related to my Jibra for this person that I've sent out to him. So I'm waiting on Rafi to get back to me. And when he does get back to me, I'll be updated here. Right now, this is still pending. Okay. So you can see how that looks on both sides. All right. Going back to match opportunities here, I do want to go over some of these other opportunities, right? Of course, we just went over the cases where you have a buyer and you're looking for sellers. Now, what about the case where you might have an inventory identified seller and you're looking for buyers, right? And so what this tells me is I have this person, Andranik in this case, who inventory identifier has found a property match for or has identified him for 56 Glenwood, Glenflow, Glendale, right? And it's telling me that I might have 31 potential buyers. This is 31 potential Gibras that are already signed and are interested in the Glendale area across 18 different agents and John Hart. So if I click on view here, it will give me the list of people in the John Hart agents that have buyers for this area. So we have Savannah, she has 6 potential buyers, Ida has 3, Seda has 3, so on and so forth. And so I can do the other side as well, and I could say match with Savannah and say, hey, Savannah, I might have a buyer or I might have a seller your buyer might be interested in. Let me know if you'd like to connect for this property. And that will again send the match request to Savannah, and she will see, what buyers have matched with Hike. She won't necessarily see Andranik, but she will know that Hike has sent Andranik, and she has 6 potential buyers for Andranik, and it will give her those buyers' names. Make sense?
Nick, can I ask you a question? Take me off of screen share.
Yeah.
This here, obviously, especially on the seller side, that I have identified, at a listing appointment, do you think that our John Harder should share this particular screen, especially if it's a full screen? Like,
Sorry, are you asking me?
yeah. I'm asking. It's a question for you.
Oh God. Okay, hold on. Ask me again.
Yeah, this is our kind of we gotta like go back and forth on this. This is us acting this whole entire thing out. If I'm a John Harder at a listing appointment, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 Main Street,
Okay.
right? And I'm trying to get the listing.
Hmm.
Should I go in ready to show swarm to see how many of John Harders have a potential buyer for this property?
Absolutely.
Right?
No
So
brainer.
and by the way, the whole entire Zebra versus listing alert thing, we're going to show you guys. I see a bunch of different questions coming up. We're going to show you. Obviously, we're very particular in identifying buyer, not just on LA County, guys. So don't worry, we've already fixed that part. So we'll explain it in a second. But the single biggest advantage to this when we first started was buyer match, right? For you guys to be able uh, to be able to match your buyers with potential sellers, right? Then it morphed into something a lot bigger. It morphed into you being able to use this as a seller and a listing appointment advantage as well, right? So when you're sitting in front of a client, which one of the agents that you're competing against is going to have, and you guys have come in from different brokerages, you know what kind of different brokerages, what they have access to. You're going to be able to pull up your iPad, your phone, your computer, and you're going to go into Swarm and you're going to say, look, not only am I going to be able to put it on the MLS market, et cetera, but I already have a list of agents with a list of buyers that have matched for a property like yours, right? So I'm going to have a long line of potential buyers that are waiting to get into your property as soon as I take on a listing. Think about how much more separation you create just from the person you were yesterday, right? Before we introduced this, how much we're having a lot of success right now with bringing on listings. Now think about how much of a conversion increase you're going to have simply because when you're sitting in front of an appointment or a listing appointment or a possible seller, excuse me, with all of this data that you're going to be sharing with them. Okay. And I wish I was practicing real estate with John Hart, and all these things that you're creating, Nick. I wish.
All right. Can I go jump back into screen share?
Please,
Okay.
please.
All right. All right. Let me go ahead and share my screen again. Yeah, and I see a bunch of questions in the chat, and I promise you we're going to answer these
Yeah,
questions
we're
one
gonna
by
answer
one.
all of them. Yeah.
Okay, so again, that's my opportunities that I'm matching with inventory identified matches, right? And then finally, and as you can imagine, there's quite a bit of complexity to all this, but finally, you could see that I'm also matching with my listings, right? Like the reason we picked Ike is because yes, obviously he has so many, but I see that even my sneak peeks that I just put on the market, like I potentially have buyers across our own network. So why look for, I mean, well, obviously you should look for buyers everywhere, but your first stop should be our own network, right? Like you have 24 agents. There you go. Thank you. No, sorry, it's the other side. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I'm charging my laptop. All right, perfect. Thank you. All right, so obviously, I want to take a look at this opportunity first. So, and this is outlining it for me. I have 36 buyers. These people already have Jibra signed and they're ready to go. Well, maybe not signed, but they have Jibra sent out and are active across 24 agents. So let's click on this. Again, similar situation. This is my listing, 17242 Horace Street. And these are people that are actively have Jibras that are looking in this area. So again, I can match with Savannah, I can match with Seda, I can match with Anne, I can match with Alvar. These are people that I know. I can pick the phone up and call them even, right? Like you don't necessarily have to match with them, but you can just go ahead and call them. Obviously, they're probably not going to know what you're talking about, so that's why we suggest that you do match with them, so it outlines for them very neatly. But this is why we've included their contact information. So all you got to do again is just click match. It's going to send over all the information to Savannah, and she's going to know exactly what it is you're talking about, and it's going to list her buyers so she knows which ones are the ones that are potentially a match for her. So that's how that's going to look like. Okay,
Yep.
cool. Should we talk about the Zebra logic now
Let's do
or the
it.
buyer
Let's
logic?
do it. I
Okay.
love it. I love that.
All right. So, you guys are very curious in the chat, and I don't blame you for being curious, but you're wondering how this makes sense, right? Like you're saying, when I send out a Zebra, I'm not necessarily outlining what areas that these people are looking for, and that's correct. You're not. However, obviously you're sending out a Zebra to a contact you have in Swarm. And so because you're sending it to a contact you have in Swarm, we're able to go to your contact's listing alerts and take a look at what listing alerts you've set up for this contact and use buyer match as a tool against those listing alerts, right? So for example, Ararat, the reason that he has matches, if I click on this again, the reason he has matches in Burbank, Glendale, Northridge is because he has listing alerts set up in Burbank, Glendale, Northridge. Now, in this situation, these three properties or these three areas are kind of far away from each other, and which is why we've now added in additional prompts for you to go and verify these listing alerts right as soon as you send out the Zebra. Okay, so buyer match logic runs every single day, right? I haven't decided when it runs, but it runs every single day and it takes a look at all your Zebras in the system that are outgoing, and it matches against inventory identifier and listing alerts. And we match and we support both cities, zip codes, and also we support draw search. So even if you drew an area your buyer is interested in, it is considered, I'm sorry, your seller is interested in, or no buyer. We did also take into consideration draw search. Okay. So all those options are working together. And if I go into Zebras right now, just to show off what that looks like, and I click on this little pencil icon, obviously, this one is signed. But as soon as you finish sending a Zebra now, you will be greeted with this page, right? And this page tells you, hey, make sure you go and you verify your listing alerts because we want to throw you in for buyer match opportunities. Okay. And this link will directly take you to that contact and also directly take you to the listing alert page. Okay. Another thing to consider is that we also include that, hold on, in the match opportunities page as well. So when you come over here to your list of Zebras, Hike has done a diligent job of putting all these people on listing alerts. Not all of you have, okay? Which is why we urge you to put everybody on listing alerts. If I click on page 2, you'll see which ones he sent out that don't have listing alerts. And he's able to add listing alerts to find matches for this potential person that has one of his buyers. So we're outlining that in 2 places for you. There should be no reason for you not to put your contacts on listing alerts. We are considering all your listing alerts, so please verify them to get a very accurate buyer match. Make sense?
Yep.
All right. Um, I mean, that's pretty much what I wanted to cover.
All right, let me go into a few things here. Okay. You can go ahead and take us off screen share. So you said earlier, and I'm gonna quote because I wrote it down here. You said, and Nick, this is I'm talking to you now, okay? You said Hike gives us the best opportunity. Why?
Because he's done a good job with his database.
Like that's it, right? For
That's
those
it.
of you guys who think, oh, it's because it's a top producing agent. No, he's maniacal about and he's automatic, right? Whether it's a purchase anniversary, that guy puts up purchase anniversaries on every single one of his addresses, whether it's a listing alert, whether it's making sure that his addresses are entered, it is always a complete and perfect contact, right? He doesn't have as many contacts as you guys think he does. He has total of 1,127 contacts. Okay, that's it, right? Most of you guys who are producing in the top on our top 25 have a lot more than 1,100 contacts, but the ratio of perfect contact to contact isn't as high as it needs to be. So my recommendation, ladies and gentlemen, is to make sure that your listing alerts are up if you really want to take advantage of exactly what it is. And I'm gonna make that announcement in a second as well. I know a lot of you guys are curious about what are we doing about off-market properties, this whole entire preview and this and that. And I'm going to talk to you guys about that in a second and why what we're doing next Wednesday with training. So before you guys leave us thinking that this whole entire thing is done, it's not. So Hike gives us the best opportunities because he is maniacal about making sure that every single one of his contacts are set up to perfection. The second thing that you're going to see, and again, this is not me selling any of our companies, so on and so forth. I just want you to go in with confidence. Anytime a buyer who signs a Zebra or has a Zebra out is also pre-approved with Golden Coast Finance, you should have a lot more confidence because that buyer is. It will have a stamp next to the buyer's name that says GCF approved. This way, you know exactly that if that buyer is serious, by one of our agents and one of our loan officers have gone ahead and certified them. The third thing that I'm seeing a lot of right now in the industry, and I know you guys are seeing this from bulletins, from DRE, from CAR, NAR, they are sending out, and I know that you guys have gotten a few calls when a lead calls you, they are sending out kind of perpetrators, right? They're looking into whether or not as agents we're being ethical. What does that mean? If you're going to show a client a property without properly signing some type of agreement, you're going to get a fine and you're going to get dinged and you're going to have something on car with your name on it. They are relentless right now making up that money. And why would you, right? If you're not going to have a Jibra signed or some type of agreement signed with your buyer, you're going to have a disadvantage, not just ethically, but now you're going to have a disadvantage because you're not going to have access for that buyer that you have in your database to connect them and galvanize yourself to the rest of the John Hart community, the rest of the John Hart network. We have tens of thousands of people that are in our database actively searching for property, actively looking to sell their homes, right? And the more agents that we bring on to the company, the more you're going to have access to these types of properties that no one else has access to. So definitely get your Jibra signed, definitely get your listing alerts up, definitely get your contacts, your addresses up with your contacts, and definitely put up those purchase anniversaries, ladies and gentlemen. We want to identify sellers that are likely to sell, give you more information, more data, and we do want to give you guys hints of buyers who are definitely looking to purchase your off-market properties. Um, Isabel, the problem with what you're asking for is we're only as good as the data that we're provided, right? So now what you're asking for is I'm going to have to ask, which is not something that it shouldn't be expected, but now I have to get my agent not only to put in the purchase anniversary, which I struggle with. You and I both know how much we struggle with that because you and I have had multiple conversations about that. But now we have to put in the bed bath, yada yada. I ask you guys not to overthink it. I ask you guys to welcome the opportunity to for the as the reminder, right? So when you're notified by one of your agents, by one of your colleagues about a certain property, right? About a certain buyer, welcome that opportunity as a reminder to connect with your contacts, right? Even if Isabel, for example, your buyer doesn't qualify, we don't have to, right? We still call our seller. Can we automate the JIBAs, meaning when they are about to expire and another one goes out? Oh, that's so easy. All it is just pressing a button. But what you want and what 700 other people want isn't the same exact thing. And the last thing that I want to do is automatically send out a Jibra request, an extension, excuse me, and then one of you guys come out and tell me, well, my buyer hated me and he didn't want to work with me, et cetera, et cetera. Why did you send them an automatic, et cetera? So just be careful of what you ask for because, again, that's going to be hundreds of agents that are going to be very upset. Will leases be added on later? We'll think about that. Do you recommend we go into more detail in the listing alerts? Isabel, yeah, I think as detailed as possible. Definitely. Does the matching system work based on only on zip codes? No. As Nick showed you, we already went over that. Stella, also if we match more that with one with same agent. Okay. So I think Martin is asking if the buyer or the seller matches with more than one agent. Yeah, you're going to match as he demonstrated, you're going to match with more than one agent, and that's something you're going to like. Can we get text notification as well? No, Christina, we're not going to do that. We're never going to expose. We're not going to be allowed. Apple, iOS, Android, they don't allow certain phone numbers, right? Your phone number, excuse me. You would have to have a vanity number, which we're really not interested in doing that. Check your email. Is basically an email and a text notification should be the same for all of you guys. Okay. More questions are coming in. Are we ever going to get the Swarm app? No, no Swarm apps. It's all desktop. There's not going to be a Swarm app. We built the system, Amanda, in a way that acts like an app anyway. But most of these things should be done through your desktop. It's a lot bigger opportunity than looking at a screen, but it functions on your phone as well. Um, all right. What is it that we're doing next Wednesday? Uh, Tune in right now. Go ahead and put yourself a calendar reminder for next Wednesday. I'm not going to. We're all done. We have made the agreement with a certain company. Um, it rhymes with pillow, but I'm not going to. But I'm not going to. I just made that up, Nick. Um, I'm not going to talk about it, go into detail just yet, but you are going to have, and we're working on how we're going to be able to support you. Unlike other companies where the agent is required to go into their own portal and add coming an off-market property into the preview, so on and so forth. We're right now coding it in a way and writing it in a way where whenever you take on a listing, it's automatically going to be syndicated to the site that everybody knows about. And this way, you're going to be able to put up your off-market property as syndication. And not only that, but we worked out an agreement that if a buyer comes in from one of their network of buyers, you as the listing agent get also a referral fee if it's closed, if it's taken before you put the property on the market, right? So there's a lot of things that are coming up, a lot of advantages that are coming up. We are going to launch off-market syndication very soon, where you're going to be able to syndicate the opportunity to a lot more than just your network. It's going to go into millions of buyers and their network. It's going to be able to go into preview. We've already signed the deal, and we will be making an announcement over the next couple of weeks. Excuse me, over the next week. Definitely next Wednesday. Tune in for all the details. Nick, I think we're done, right?
I do have one more thing I want to mention.
Okay.
I do want to mention to everyone here that this system is not for me. This system is for you. So it's very early on. You guys have a lot of questions. You guys are going to go ahead and play around with it. And we want to reiterate that we value your feedback a lot, right?
No.
I am not the end user of this product. I am simply with the team that helps build these products and features for you to use. I'll never get the user experience that you have because it's actually something that is for you and your business. So please always remember that your feedback is critical and you should always never hesitate to let us know your thoughts. Even if we say no, maybe not, or maybe down the road, we listen to everything you say.
Yeah.
So give us your feedback.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, I mean, again, this is a beta test, but we couldn't, and we tried to first launch it for like 10, 15 agents, but then again, we wouldn't be able to get the whole entire user experience with only 10, 15 agents, right? We needed everybody's data. So if there's anything at all whatsoever that you feel like, or questions you might have, just go into the top right-hand corner of Swarm and just open up a ticket. This tech that we're building has been built by you guys. Most of the things that we're doing today or we've done in Swarm today is basically you asking for things, right? Whether, conversations, Isabel, I know you and I have had so many conversations. You go up to Nick all the time. Martin, same exact thing. So many of you guys have had conversations with us about tech. And the only way, like I said at the very beginning when we first started, the only way to predict what's going to happen is if we invent what's going to happen. And the only way we invent it, ladies and gentlemen, is through people that are using it. You're like Nick said, you're the end user, right? We want to make sure that when you're at a listing presentation, you get that thing signed without even a question. When you're at a buyer consultation, that thing is signed no matter what. So, what do we do? How do we do it? What is it that you're looking for in order for us to be able to get you a step closer to being the only option when it comes to your clients? That's all we're obsessed with. So, help us get there. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. Nick, you rock. Enjoy the rest of your day.